being down here in Florida and being alumni of the University of Florida, I've thought about, we just lost power. That's really interesting.
No, I think did the lights just go off or the power went off?
Let me hit that switch. Hang on.
Okay.
Hey, Mitch, you want to go back and cut this?
You know what? Rich needs a t-shirt that says, "That's staying in."
Hello and welcome to this episode of Women in AV Podcast. Thank you to our guests for joining our friends and family episode, which is actually just family. And so my family that's joining is my husband, Joel. Hey, Joel.
Hey, Erica. Thank you for having me and admitting publicly that I'm your family. I think that's great.
Well, if they don't know by now, I don't know. Nobody's really listening. And my amazing co-host, Jennifer. How you doing, Jennifer?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Erica?
I'm pretty good. And your family is with us here too.
Yes, my much older brother, which I like to tell everyone, is here with us. I had to get that in. So my older brother is with us. He's also the president and owner of RTSales. So hi, Bert. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Jen.
Yeah. So the first topic I wanted to bring up is that you are all Jeep people. I don't have a Jeep.
What?
This is like a religion for you guys, this Jeep people thing. So talk about your Jeeps, guys.
That's a really broad statement. So I also want to say that more specifically, to be a Jeep person in this club, you have to be a Wrangler person.
Yeah.
Bert had a Wrangler when I was in college.
Well, they're all Wrangler. It's still a Wrangler. It's just now the Wrangler JL. So
Yeah.
it's, but yeah, back then it was a CJ. So it was an old one. So this is my fifth Jeep I think I've owned. So I've always had them on and off for years. I had one that just lived in the garage with, I literally took the doors off of it the day I bought it and put the doors back on it the day I sold it. And it was just beach day. That was the only purpose of it.
That's awesome.
How about you guys? How many Jeeps do you have between Erica and Joel? How many have you had?
Collectively 3.
Okay.
So I had my old Jeep when we met, and then we ended up getting my newer Jeep, which is a 2016 4-door Wrangler. Her name is America. She is hydro blue and American themed. And then during COVID, Joel, do you want to talk about your Jeep?
Yeah, I liked her Jeep so much, I needed my own because she doesn't share. So I got Tiki, who is as bright green as you possibly could imagine, which is great because I can never lose it in a parking lot. It's perfect.
That's awesome. I have a Mojito as well.
Oh, I love that color. I love that color. We're part of the Jeep green Jeep crew, Erica. You're part of the blue crew, so you're kind of missing out.
Blue's better.
I agree with blue is better. If I could choose one, I would.
Does your Jeep have a name?
No, I haven't done that yet. I don't do names. I don't do ducks. I haven't gone down either of those roads. I get the ducks. They are in my garage up on a shelf, but I can't do the, 6 foot long line of ducks in your windshield. I just don't do it.
I'm okay with that, but not naming it, that's rough. That's borderline not a Jeep person, Bert. I mean,
I know.
Just because you own a Jeep doesn't mean you're a Jeep person.
Well, holiday themed and green, we could call it the Grinch.
Right.
So you're very bah humbug by not naming it. So I think it's very fitting to name it the Grinch going forward.
I am alumni of the University of Florida. They call the stadium the Swamp. So I have a green Jeep. We're in Florida. So I thought about calling it Swamp Thing, which, get that kind of slimy lettering.
That's a great one.
I just haven't done it because I have zero bandwidth to do anything.
Jennifer, it sounds like a sticker gift that should be able to come for Christmas. You can probably still get it.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. You need to get too specific. We'll help you figure out sizing. Yeah, we got it. We can help you with that.
I did take off the trail rated badge and replace it with a beach rated badge, though. That was very important.
Good.
Yeah, I've actually never given Bert a sticker. If that makes you guys feel very loved, Bert has yet to. His wife's got a Jen sticker that I've made for her custom of her dog. Erica's got dog. Joel's got a tiki sticker. Bert, I will make you a Swamp Thing sticker.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's what you're getting for Christmas. Solved.
Easy Christmas present.
So we were talking about ducks a second ago, and for those that don't know, the duck thing, I'm pretty sure came around because of the pandemic, and people wanted something positive, and so they started leaving ducks on other people's Jeeps, just like sending happiness. So one of our things that we do for Thanksgiving every year, we go on a cruise, and people started hiding ducks all over the cruise ship, and people were going crazy, like searching for them, to the point where like kids were going in the bushes.
So when did that start?
Since last year. It wasn't like that last year, and this year they were everywhere. But she also said plants on a cruise ship, so that's also kind of exciting to have a whole garden. But it was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
I wonder if rubber duck sales have gone up.
Even my mom got excited over finding these ducks all over the cruise ship. I'm like, I love you. I'm not going to go look for ducks, Mom.
Hey, if that's her thing. But yeah, so if it started, I didn't know the Jeep thing happened during the pandemic for ducks, and the cruise thing has definitely been during the pandemic. So where's everyone buying their rubber ducks? Is Amazon getting sold out?
Oriental trading.
There's so many different types too. It's crazy.
So yeah, that's your holiday tradition.
So our holiday tradition, Joel likes to get away from family.
Do you want that on the podcast? That Joel likes to get away from family?
It's more like for Thanksgiving, right? It's like everybody fights about like who's going to see who for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. So a couple years ago, we decided, you know what, we're going to go on a cruise, and whoever wants to join us can join us. And that's actually worked really well for our family. So this past year, Joel's mom joined us. We had the kids with us. Mm-hmm. So it was a good family vacation. And you don't have to worry about like cooking and cleaning, and, you know, everybody's already entertained with everything going on the ship.
It removes the stress of the holiday.
Bert, do you want to talk about your recent cruise?
Oh,
what happened there?
Yeah, we showed up at the cruise ship. Like I said, I have no bandwidth. So going Mach 5 with day-to-day, and we showed up at Port Canaveral, and we're in line getting ready to get on the boat. I literally had packed like 2 hours before that, threw everything in the back of the truck, drove over there, and as we're walking up to the cruise terminal, my wife pulls out hers and her two sons' passports, and I had an moment. My passport's is sitting back at a home in Claremont, Florida. So I had to literally sprint to the truck. Now, we had gotten there early, so I still had about 2 hours, but it's an hour to Claremont and an hour back. And I missed the boat by less than 10 minutes. So
they saw him as the boat was going off. His family saw him running.
So I sat at Grill's Tiki Bar and literally watched the boat sail away without me. While I sat there with my beer, I booked a flight to St. Thomas and picked up the boat there. So that was my most recent cruise.
But the moral of the story is, if you miss the boat, you could always get lionfish bite at Grills. Those are good.
That's right. Exactly. So I literally took video of the boat sailing away. It was hilarious. It actually was fun. I flew to St. Thomas. And it was almost like I felt like I was a pirate or something, because St. Thomas is a very pirate island. It's one of the big islands in the old pirate stories. So there was just a lot of fun sightseeing to do. And frankly, I didn't want to be stuck on a boat for 8 days, so it actually worked out. We still got a lot of the cruise in. I think I still got 5 days of cruise, and we had a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but this year there's no one escaping, and everyone is coming to my house for Christmas. And it's the first time all of my siblings will be in the same place at the same time in, oh my goodness, I don't know how long.
Your sister's coming too?
Yes, my little sister's coming.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so my twin brother he's in the Marines, been in the Marines for 12 or 13 years now. He's been stationed in Japan and San Diego and places where by the time he flew home, he would have to fly back. So he's now in North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina. So he's going to be able to make the drive. Bert, his wife, and their stepchildren are driving up. And then, those those are all my siblings. So,
That's
and Melody's
awesome.
flying over from,
awesome.
she's in Scottsdale now, or Flagstaff, or Phoenix, or something like. She's moving.
It'll be our first Christmas all together with Olivia. It'll be pretty awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and as you guys know, Kennestone Hospital has a huge helicopter pad, and Santa is flying in on the helicopter next week.
That's cool.
And Olivia's going to get to meet Santa. So that's really exciting.
That's
But
cool.
as we're talking about holiday traditions, Bert has very strict holiday rules. And so I've
They're not
always
rules.
kept to them. And they're rules.
Nobody has to oblige to them other than myself. So
There's a deep guilt if you don't follow them. So my friends in college would always make fun of me. I was like, no, we can't do any Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. That's a huge rule.
Mhm.
Can't put the Christmas tree up till after Thanksgiving.
correct.
There's cinnamon rolls Christmas morning. I don't even eat cinnamon rolls, but we make
Yeah,
them.
there's a lot of really strict rules in there, actually. Like, the whole Walmart putting up Christmas decorations on October 1st thing just is, I want to go in there with a baseball bat sometimes, and be like, no, this is wrong. So it's, I have a very strict rule that when Santa comes down the street on Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade and stops in front of Macy's, it's officially Christmas, and you shall not put up Christmas decorations until that moment. So yeah, it's a little weird. I have my Christmas rules, and there's movies that must be watched, and they're not your typical Christmas movies. It's not Miracle on 34th Street. It's Die Hard. It's which
is a Christmas movie.
Which
We
is
are
very
all
much
going to say that.
it's not a Christmas movie. It's the Christmas movie. Let's just say yippee-ki-yay. We'll leave the rest out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what you eat, what you drink, all those things. It's like I'm obsessively ritualistic about it.
We're good on the decorating part. I mean, the decorating decorating, I guess in general, is kind of a challenge anymore. We're not here ever, so why decorate?
I love it.
We considered decorating. Last year we put up a tree with no ornaments.
Okay. Lights.
But it's pre-lit.
There you go.
But we're here so little, and then we're like up and at 'em as soon as it gets cold. Like right after Christmas, it's like, okay, January in Florida. I know we're in Georgia now, but snowbird season is definitely a thing around here. I don't like being cold.
Oh, Bert hates it, and I kind of feel bad because his original Christmas plans were to be in Miami to watch the Dolphins Cowboys game,
Yep.
and then I ruined it by inviting them for
You did.
Christmas.
I was with Trip watching the Cowboy game last night, and he was like, "Tell me again why you're not coming to the game." And so I threw you under the bus with him yet again. So
Good. That's fine. That's fine. So I know what I did. So I have to definitely follow all of the Christmas traditions. Die Hard needs to be playing on all TVs at all time. So plenty of cinnamon rolls. I've got cookie dough already made. So
I have a question, because there's not a lot of this out there. I mean, all of us are in the same industry, but we also, you and your brother and me and my husband, independently but together, we work at the same company.
yes.
Joel and I work together, and you and Bert work together. So what is that like when you have the rest of the family around? I know you have other family members that also work with you guys, so I can only imagine what that family dynamic looks like. Do you talk shop at the table?
Yes, we definitely do. Well, Bert and I do, at least. And for me, I've never liked the rule. We've had family members in the past that aren't in the industry say, no talking shop, no, like, not at the table and all that, or that we're going this whole holiday and you're not allowed to bring up AV, you're not allowed to bring up the company. But it's our life, and it's one of the huge things we have in common. We love the industry, we love what we do, so we just kind of feel like we should be able to talk about it, and so we do. And yeah, we get ragged on a little bit, and we obviously talk about other things, but we talk about AV.
we work in a cool industry. It's fun to talk about. We don't talk about, business numbers and stuff like that. We talk about cool products and the toys that make this industry so much fun.
Yeah, speaking of, so that's another reason why I think that we should be allowed to talk AV at the table. Is it's just going to become in everyone's going to be speaking AV at the table in 10 years because it's going to be in everyone's lives. It's just the technology
I don't
is
talk
taking
about work
over.
ever at a table, Jen, ever. Like,
Really? I was
like
gonna
dinner
say.
table. No, never. I don't take calls. No, pretty sure.
I ate dinner with you and we definitely talked about AV.
I think that might be a little white lie.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was
Don't
Italian
tell
both
Santa.
times.
Don't
I
tell
mean-
Santa.
Well-
I should be okay.
We talk about work all the time.
Yeah, and I think it should be allowed. This whole work-life balance thing, if you love your job and it's not unhealthy for you to talk about it, why not?
I've had so many good memories around the holidays. I remember Lance Fader. He's still at Extron, good friend. I helped him buy his wife a coffee pot one year, right, for Christmas. We go shopping together for his wife. I would always go to Indianapolis because downtown Indianapolis was beautiful, and I always want to get one more trip there. And there's all these different things that I remember over all the different companies I worked at that come around Christmas. We have a couple people that are coming into town. They're coming to do business, but tonight going to go out and just have a little get together since I can't be with the whole team, which is nice. So it's hard to not bring up those memories and those discussions at the table because they all make us who we are, regardless if people want to talk about it or not. And usually they did fall around something that was probably kind of cool, right? That brought us to some of those places in the first place.
I think that's an interesting point too, though, that what we do for work is not just limited to work. My friends are in the industry, so it's not just professional. It's also my personal interests that revolve around the industry that happen, to come up as a topic.
Do you guys get the I could never work with my husband, I could never work with my wife a lot?
Often, but you know what I tell them? I don't work with my wife because I don't. Well, no, it's something that we do. We're very, 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 it's very important to us that Eric is Erica and Joel is Joel, and we make sure that there's that separation. So with our work stuff, we don't take advantage of that relationship at all. When we're talking work, she's the best coworker I've ever had, regardless if we're married or not. She truly is. And the benefit to that is it ensures it doesn't ever get in the way, right? We have our own paths, we have our own goals, we have the own skills that we want to grow on. So people say that all the time. I'm like, well, I couldn't be with my husband all the time or my wife all the time. Granted, I'm never home. I am today, but I'm typically traveling. So that's not too big of a deal. But she's a huge sounding board for me to bounce ideas off of. And she has been, because we've worked together at this point, 5.5 years out of the 7 years that we've been married, 7.5 years that we've been married.
Over 2 different companies.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jennifer's been running around the office since she was about a foot tall. So,
some things don't change,
grew,
bro. Some things don't
right?
change.
So we literally grew up together in this industry. So, talking about it is like, whatever, there's no restrictions there.
Yeah, none at all. But I do get I could never work with my sibling from people a lot. And I do remind them that I have a total of 3 siblings and Bert's the only one I could work with. So I would be fine with my other siblings working with them. It would just be a way different dynamic.
Yeah, there's exactly 20 years difference between our father, who started the rep firm, myself, and Jennifer. So it's a 40-year span there. Yeah, it's exactly 20 exact years, almost to the month. So it's a pretty interesting dynamic. When I got into this business through our father when I was 20. And he was 40, and that was the year Jennifer was born. So it's it's an interesting family dynamic with us.
Yep. And then everyone in our family was born in a year that ended in 9. And so we thought that in 2019, like that's the only year I would be able to get pregnant. Like it wouldn't happen any other year. Like this was in my brain. I thought it's just like a family phenomenon that it would never happen. And I was out with Bert on Halloween and we were joking because it was the year 2020. So we were joking and we're like, oh, missed it. I won't be pregnant till 2029. Like, woo, going crazy. And drinking. I was probably pretty deep. We were at Rocco's Tacos, pretty deep in the margaritas, and I was pregnant while bragging about not being pregnant for another 10 years.
Wow.
So I thought I just had a bad hangover the next few days, but it was not.
No.
So I ruined that little family tradition. Speaking of family traditions, I ruined that one.
I want to talk about some cool stuff that we've seen this year. Maybe things in the industry that you were excited about. And I'll start just at a very basic level. Infocom this year felt like it had the highest energy in multiple years running. And I was very excited about that. And I like seeing how other manufacturers are wanting to work more together. And I'm excited to see what that looks like in the future without the dependency of having like a programmer bringing those things together, as a separate third party.
Yeah, no, it's the energy at the show was insane. I mean, I just, we being here in Orlando, based in Orlando, Infocom Orlando is Mach 10 with your hair on fire. And we were able to just step back for a few minutes here and there and just soak it all in because we went through that awful Infocom back in 2021. That was a non-trade show event.
We were there.
And it was so awful. So to be able to have that show be what it was this year, it was awesome.
Yeah, I got CTS of the year that year, and I was like, this isn't fair. Can I do it again when there's a real Infocom? Like, there's no one in the audience, no one seeing this. It's it was rough.
So other things that we did this year, Joel, you did something exciting.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, well, I'll start with something simple. We went on a cruise for New Year's last year. It's not, we don't go on cruises all the time. It's just been a stint in the last couple of years. But the excitement of seeing how the AV was put together on that cruise, even so far to go and open up the back of the display and see how they mounted the display in the stateroom. Seeing how that's infiltrating everywhere was pretty key. And here's three of us geeks, my son's included. He just started in AV this year, Aiden. And we're looking behind the TV and trying to figure out how it's connected and what are all these pieces. There's not too many people that get excited over that, but we definitely did. But I had some pretty cool experiences. One, I was at the opening night of the Sphere, and the second night that the Sphere was open as well, to see U2. And the immersive, it's hard to even put in words. I stood next to Joe A on the floor the first night. And the second night, I stood up in the stands, where usually you want to be in the floor for a concert. The stands by and far on the second level, hands down, was the best experience I've ever had at any live event ever in my life. The floor was cool, don't get me wrong. U2's 20 feet away, you see them. But as soon as you got in the stands, everything was immersive. And that second level, everywhere you looked, everything was around you. And then the audio portion of it surrounded you. You didn't get that when you're on the floor. So you're sitting here, and my son and I being at the concert the night before, like, yeah, not much is going to be different. Totally different experience. Hearing songs and this and all. It was just amazing that you could go to an event like that. And people were talking about the visuals being too much. They weren't. I mean, it was all part of the song, and the immersiveness and how U2 played to that was fabulous. The set was simple. It looked like a record player, like a turntable with a record on top. It was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, the outside of the Sphere, you know what? It's pretty cool. Outside's pretty cool. The inside, though, it blew my mind. At first, we didn't even realize that the projection was a projection. It looked like it was the actual walls till Joe Way and I are like walking and staring like this close to the screen and like, oh my goodness, that's not the wall. That's actually a projection that looks like, I don't know. I mean, it almost felt like you were in a biodome or something at first. It was pretty crazy. Wow. It was slick. It was a really slick experience.
Yeah. I'm hoping U2 comes back for that because
And Infocom's going to be in Vegas, so we should all go to the Sphere experience. Fish is the next band that just got announced to be
Oh,
in
wow.
the
Oh,
Sphere.
okay.
Not my type of thing, but I think that would be a pretty unique experience seeing Fish in there.
Is that who's gonna be there when we're all in Vegas?
Either Fish or no one. They have an experience, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen it, but they got air cannons and fog cannons, and their seats are haptic. So if you sit in the right seats, you can feel the whole environment kind of take off. I want to say it's probably $80 or something like that if I remember, but I would like to see that if I have an opportunity when you're in Vegas, because you get to experience the technology in all its glory. It's in a very impressive venue. I don't know if they're going to be able to duplicate it due to cost. I mean, the tickets weren't that expensive when you think about it. And so I always kind of wonder when I bought the ticket, how they're making money. it was affordable, a couple $100, not cheap, but for that type of experience was a bit surprising to say the least.
That's your typical Vegas show price. So it's,
right.
That's pretty affordable considering what they've got invested in that thing.
Yeah, I definitely
Correct.
want to go when we're in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's where we're meeting this year.
Selling direct view LED, just seeing how massive that thing is, it's like, they've got to sell thousands and thousands of tickets just to pay for the LED. So it's
just for the LED.
It's pretty mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the LED. Let's forget about hiring a band like U2, which can't be cheap.
Right.
So did they obviously had to almost, like when you rehearse, they were rehearsing with the video, I'm guessing, and making it all work together. That must have been pretty insane. The timing has to be basically pretty perfect to make it work.
The only people that knew about what it looked like for rehearsals weren't even the workers that worked there. It was the crew. The workers weren't allowed to see any of the show until the day the show opened. We were talking to them. They had an all black curtain off. They couldn't look inside. Nothing. It was, and it was pinpoint perfect right to the time. It was pretty impressive.
And they're pretty used to doing bombastic shows like that, so it wasn't a new thing to them. That's
correct.
For sure.
No, not to you two, which makes sense why they brought them in, right? Because that is what they do when they do their shows. Yeah.
Exactly. I went to 2 shows of the Spaceship Stadium tour, which was at that point, that's the biggest thing I've ever seen. Yeah.
Bert, was there anything phenomenal that you saw or did this year that you would reflect on?
Nothing at that level. No. The cruise ship that I went on that I eventually picked up in St. Thomas was the biggest cruise ship in the world. It was the Oasis of the Seas. I literally was so massive. I was on it for 5 days, and I think I missed out at least half of the bars and restaurants that there were available to go see, to go eat and drink at. I missed a couple of the shows. It was literally, I spent the entire time going, how does this float? How is this even possible that this thing is floating in the ocean?
We'll bring you on a cruise, Bert. We'll get you around the ship. No problem.
Right.
Do you know how much depth is actually in the water? The boat?
Very little. Yeah, very little.
It's only like 35 or 40 feet.
Just in the high 30s. Yep.
And that boat has like 19 stories.
Yeah, I think that's what the number was. It was like 19 or 20 decks on that ship. And I just, I used to get seasick on big boats. I can go out on little fishing charters and in rough seas and be perfectly fine. But big ships used to rocking back and forth used to give me really bad headaches. And so I went prepared with the patches and everything. And I didn't even notice it moving. I mean, the stabilizers they've got in those things now are so amazing. And just that was probably as far as, and on our side, the show, the AV on the show, we do a lot of work with those cruise lines through the brands that we represent, everything from the LED to the loudspeakers. And so, of course, I spent the whole time being a gear nerd, walking around, taking pictures of, video walls and loudspeakers and things like that. And just all the other tech involved with it there from an entertainment standpoint. The show, it was Broadway theater quality.
Absolutely.
Show stuck right on the back of the boat. It literally was a massive theater with all the audio, video, lighting, everything. Just incredibly impressive.
Yeah, that was something that stood out for me too when we did our cruise. Same thing, you know, it's in that same huge class of ship. They had Broadway the musical was like the headlining show, and it was absolutely Broadway quality, but their use of LED walls in their set designs, their use of 4-point
Yeah, it was
harnesses
floored.
within an auditorium
Oh yeah.
is incredible.
Incredible. I mean, it was hairspray on that show. It was amazing.
Yeah, the mix of the 3D projection uh, on the
Mhm.
surfaces combined with the direct view LED was just
Yeah.
epic.
Jen, how about you? Do you have anything to reflect on?
Yeah, actually, one of them is with you when you took me to stand on the sidelines at the
Oh,
Falcon Stadium and just seeing how like it's a soccer game, so I wasn't
It's
expecting it
Atlanta
to be this
United Stadium when Atlanta United's playing, Jennifer. No football.
no.
it
We'll take
was not
Mercedes-Benz
football.
Stadium.
Yeah, it was in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and I don't know. See, that's the thing. I was asking Erica so many questions about soccer. I was like, when are they off? Where was that our team? Like, I was totally lost. But I was taking in all of the AV. It was so incredible. Even the pyrotechnics were amazing, and it was like, wow, this is. I don't know. I thought they would maybe. I don't think they had the dome open, but they had everything else going. It was. They did not hold anything back for that game, and it was really
Yeah, it's
truly an
cool.
incredible experience.
You went to that stadium for
Dean's thing,
Dean's, yeah, my
yes.
son's. He was
But
in
I
it.
was up in the nosebleeds, and they only had one side seated because you're looking down, watching obviously a marching band thing, but with
It was DCI Drum Corps.
yes, but with Erica, we were standing. I kept thinking I was going to get hit in the face with a soccer ball, but that's how close we were. And you could really take the AV in, and it was really cool to just be on like you were saying, Joel, you were looking at the back of things on the cruise ship. I was looking at the back of the LED wall that was the banner going around. I'm like, oh, it's cool that we can actually see how this is all connected. And there's a tech walking around, and it's pretty amazing.
That was awesome.
And we got on TV. Joel saw us on TV.
I did. I took photos and sent them on, and it was great. I was watching the game from wherever I was. So, hey, I'd like to take an opportunity to ask you guys a question, Jennifer and Erica. It's a season of giving,
Oh,
and
oh boy.
and the reason why I asked, yes, Jennifer, you can get me a present if you want. You're more than welcome to. I'll accept it.
Great.
The reason why I asked though is you guys have been doing something I feel is pretty great, giving your time, money, other things to Rosie Riveters. And I don't know if anybody's really asked you the why you're doing that. And during this season of giving, why are you guys doing that? Like, why does that really stand out? Because again, I know you're starting your fundraising, some of these other things, but right now's the time that we look out for others, more so than not. We should do it year round, but all of us think about it now. Why are you guys doing this? What's calling you to do this with Rosie Riveters?
Well, for me, one of the things is actually related to Bert is the fact that I feel so comfortable in the industry because my brother is always there to support me through everything. He's never told me I couldn't do anything. He's always supported everything I've wanted to do. I feel safe at events always because no one's going to mess with me when my brother's around. And it didn't even occur to me till recently that maybe other women didn't feel as comfortable in the industry, and maybe they don't want to jump headfirst into the industry because it's not a comfortable place for them. And then I started saying I should be that big brother for the industry and get more representation, make women feel safe. And Erica and I, when we met up for the first time, we decided that a great way to do it would be to start them show girls at a young age that this is something they can do. And so that's why I started it. And seeing what Erica is capable of was also really inspiring.
Oh my gosh, you guys. So, for Joel, I didn't know you were going to ask that, and I appreciate you for bringing that up because I don't think that I've ever actually really talked about it, about my real why. And I mean, we've always told the story like, what can we actually do to make a difference, which is absolutely true. But my why personally is that I found a family in AV and I felt like I was part of something that was way bigger than me. Growing up, I didn't finish college. And, there were a lot of things in the world that said you have to go to college to do the thing you want to do. And I'm sort of really glad that I stumbled upon AV, but I want other people to feel what I have felt from the industry because there's not an industry in the world that's like this. You don't have to have a formal education. You can learn anything that you need to learn as long as you're willing to learn it. And you can just, people just accept you, you can be a part of that without having to live up to somebody else's expectations. It's important to show that to girls too. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't tell anybody I was going to ask that. It is.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joel, you sprung that one on us.
I figured I would. I thought it would be good. But I think what you guys have done are amazing, and I've seen, firsthand some of the stuff that you've been doing through what's going on out in Colorado and other places. It's pretty cool to see that stuff really take off from really a mountain of nothing to this huge, monolith that's starting to grow as people are getting more information as to what Rosy Riveters can do and the reason behind it. So figured I'd take the opportunity to find out what your why is.
No, that's great. And I'm really proud of Jennifer, how far she's taken this thing. I mean, it's insane. Every time I just think about it, I remember years ago in the office, I showed her what a CTS is. And I said, you might want to consider getting this just to give yourself some more street cred when you're talking to our customers. And they go, oh, she's a CTS. And just, it's the typical guy thing, not taking a woman seriously. And those three letters just immediately get you cred. And so she took it and just kept running with it. And here we are with what you guys are doing now. It's just amazing.
Not only did she keep running with it, I want to tout Jennifer for just a minute because she's made the 40 under 40 influencer. She's gotten CTS of the year. Like, she's doing great things for the industry to really be that model that we want to show kids, right? Jen and I are in this together, and we've worked really hard at our careers, but at the same time, it's being a different kind of role model for kids to show them that there's a path and a way, and it's not that hard to just be a good person.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
It's the minimum.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I appreciate you saying all that, Erica, and you know how I feel the same. And for me, the most exciting, we've got a crazy week ahead, obviously really excited about all the holidays, but Erica and I are getting together on Friday to come up with our plans for next year, what we're going to do, what we're going to try to accomplish, and it's going to be the highlight of my week. So
yeah. I'm excited about that too.
Don't forget, we have an experience center down here in Orlando that is at your disposal. So
excellent.
Yeah, we're going to do some packing parties there.
That's right.
It's ready now.
You just gave us open access to your office, right? To your experience center.
It's here for you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You got to get on the calendar, but it's here for you.
Gotta get the line,
right?
But it's here for you.
All right. I appreciate you all for joining us today. Bert, how can people get a hold of you?
Tunks at RTSales is the best way because I do most of my communicating via email.
Okay, excellent. Joel?
J. Carroll at Mersive or the Joel Carroll. You can find me on LinkedIn or a myriad of other places here and there. So, or also call Erica. That's another way. You can always get in touch with me. It seems to work out.
That's how people get in touch with Bert, too, I have to say.
Yeah, scheduling this whole thing, Jennifer was going back and forth with Bert's calendar, and I was going back and forth with Joel's calendar, which this was like an act of God to just get all of us together.
That we're here.
That
we're
here.
Flexible.
The next 4 days I'm on the road, so thank you very much for punting it back to Monday.
What a crazy end of year.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
It's always crazy.
Travel ends on Friday, so I'll have 3 weeks of no travel other than Christmas travel, of course, but in terms of business travel, so I'm excited for that.
Same for Joel.
Yeah.
He's going on his last trip. tomorrow.
Yep.
Not like ever.
Most likely.
Right. No, for the year.
Most likely.
His
We'll see.
last
We'll see.
trip.
I still have a few days to
Yeah.
book next week. You never know.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you, Jen, as always. And we hope that you all have a wonderful day.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.